Alright, so this is a product I've had for a little while now, and I think it's time I go ahead and review it. Um, Before we get started, though, in the interest of full disclosure, I paid for this product with my own funds. Nobody is going to review or see this footage before it is posted, so all the opinions you're going to hear are my own. So let's get right to it. So, what this is, it's very similar to what you see in a lot of motels. In fact, you might have seen this in my road trip vlog where I went to Connecticut. I had this plugged in. I took this with me. I like taking this on vacations because it gives me um, four outlets and also four USBs. So I'm gonna put up a screenshot right now. At the time I got it, it was $13.99 on Amazon, and it is currently $14.44. So it went up a few cents, but it is super handy, and it's also, for the longest time I thought that said Super Dandy, but it says Superdanny. So what I do with this is my microphone setup has two of these packs that you can mount, and also the wireless receiver. So I have three of them plugged in, and then I also have I usually have that tablet that I reviewed plugged into it. This just sits on my desk, and when I go home, like when I go home today, I'll plug the cameras into these, and then everything else will be USB. So, first of all, the build construction seems okay. There's nothing really offensive about the build quality. I saw some reviews, and one thing I don't see on here, which may keep me from saying buy it, is I don't see a UL listing on it, and there's no UL listing in any of the paperwork I got with it. Sadly, I threw everything out after I bought it because I'm going to use it. I got to do something here. So let's plug it in and see how it works. Alright, so it's plugged into the outlet now, and there's a switch on the back. Turn it on and off, and they do say it's a circuit breaker. So, what I want to see, and I'll switch scenes for this, so I'm going to need to do it this way, I believe. So this is a little USB tester. It has a display on it. I don't know how the camera is going to like it. And actually the camera seems to be just fine, but let me... Okay, so we plugged it in, and you can't see through my hand at all. This is going to be a challenge. So right now it's put out 5.11 volts. Now, on the bottom of the box it says USB output total is 3.1 amps. So, let's plug the little tester in here. This will apply a load. It has a variable resistor on it. And right now, it's drawing 1.78 amps. I'm going to turn it up. It's not very linear. 2.1 is average for one of these, but it's saying 3.1 total. According to the paperwork, once it drops below 5 volts, that is considered a fail. It's funny, I'm doing this on the computer screen. Ooh, man, that thing's getting hot. That's the first time I've seen the fan come on, because I have done testing with it. So it does do 3.1 amps reliably, it looks like. As long as this tester is accurate. Give a little nudge. 3.1, and it has recovered back up to 5.04. This has passed the test. I have not actually tested this box, but I have tested quite a few of my other devices. So, what I'm going to do, and I'll end up moving this to the front one in a second. I want to see what does my... Right now my phone's at 91%. This might not be the best thing to test it with. But we'll plug in my phone. This is a Samsung cable. This is only doing about a half an amp. Actually, not even a half an amp. Unfortunately, I don't have... You know, one thing I could do... pardon me for one momento. Alright, so I plugged my studio light into this, and that is pulling around 2 amps. Oh, yeah, it might help to get my fat finger out of the way, right? Yeah, so that's pulling like 1.9 amps. We could call that 2 amps. So what I'm going to do now, studio light's going to go off. Plug that in. Ooh. Plug the studio lamp directly into it. So we know that that is pulling about 2 amps. The light went down immediately. So the light's coming back. So I should be seeing 1.1 amps at 5 volts. Alright, so 1.3 and we are back at 5 volts. 1.4, 1.35, whatever you want to call it. So this thing has completely passed its test. Let me zoom you out just a second, or just a smidge here. So now I'll plug the cell phone in. That's probably going to pull about another half an amp. So that brings us down to 4.5 volts or 4.4 volt. But one thing to remember is like when you're using something like this, you're generally not going to be drawing, like everything you put in there is not going to draw that much amperage all the time. Like my cell phone's going to be probably drawing less now, but I wish this this knob, like you have to like turn it like 5 times. At this point I have my cell phone charging, I have my studio light going. So we have hit its limit, but you're generally not going to be drawing this much out of one of these guys at once. So let me pause this, plug my studio light back into where I normally have it, and we'll be right back. Okay, so I have it unplugged now from the power because I want to do something a little bit different. And this may or may not surprise you. Sadly, I'm going to lose one of the best parts about it is that it doesn't slide. It doesn't slide all over my desk. It takes a little bit of force to make it move. And, man. But I'm going to take it apart. And unfortunately, that requires pulling these feet off of it, which I will do so now. And they are triangle bit. I think it looks a lot like this guy here. Because I want to take this apart, and one of the things I liked about it was it said that it had copper bus bars going between the outlets on it. And looking at the layout of it, I find that a little hard to believe. And the only way I'm going to know is if I take it apart. You know, what's EEV Blog always say? Don't turn it on, take it apart. I'm also going to be putting this video, or attempting to put this video on the Amazon page for this. So, dun dun dun. Okay, so it requires further taking apart to find out. This has a pretty typical looking, because there are 5 screws on this. Ow. Stab myself with a screwdriver bit. Also, while I'm here, I want to do some testing on something else I might put at the end of this video. It won't be on the Amazon video, of course. I don't think I'm actually going to be able to make any money off the Amazon video, but just because it's there should grow some presents. Ah, crap. Okay, so yeah, they do use copper bus bars to go between the components, and you can't see through my arm. But they are connected to the power lines through adequate gauge wire. So they did not lie at all about how they did it. So kudos. Kudos Superdanny. The whole reason I bought this was because it mentioned the copper bus bars, and I wanted to, have something that was going to be a little bit better quality. Because, so this is going to take I'm going to shut off the camera to put this back together, because this apparently going to be a little harder to put back together than I thought. So it actually went back together pretty fine. I had no issues with that. In fact, the rubber feet even went back on. It was harder to line these up, put it together than it was taking it apart, obviously, but it only took me like 2 or 3 minutes to put it all back together. So, also, one thing, there's 2 things I failed to mention in here. One, it is an integrated circuit controlled USB hub. So, it didn't know what to do with this because there's no handshake with it. But when you plug in your phone and you plug in some other stuff, it will automatically adjust so that it doesn't go into a failure mode. And also, these definitely hold, the plugs definitely hold in pretty well. There's no issue, like you're not going to have these falling out on you. I mean, they hold in pretty well. All in all, the only thing I'm even remotely concerned about is the fact that there's no UL listed on it. Other than that, I say this is a pretty good device. Oh yeah, it does have keyhole mounted. Yeah, you can see it. The keyhole mounted. So you could mount it to a table or a wall. But this is something that I have found to be nearly indispensable when it comes to going on vacation. And like I said, I keep this on my desk at home when I need to charge my mics or my cameras and all that stuff. Everything is just right there in one place. Yeah, so, like I said, if you like it, buy it. But, you gotta stay within reason. Yeah, it does use copper bus bars, but they are connected with, I think this is 18 gauge wire. I need to... Yes, 18 gauge wire. So, don't plug a space heater into this. Don't plug a refrigerator into it. But, a couple of phone chargers, or maybe, like I have my laptop plugged into it. You have laptop lamps, and then you have these 4 USBs there. I say go for it if you like it. So thanks for watching. Have a blessed day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank everybody for watching. Scrolling across the screen right now. Special thanks to my Patreon supporters. And if you'd like to see your name there, there's always a link down in the description below. But as always, thanks for watching. Have a blessed day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.